Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Ask Rebecca radio show. Thanks for joining me tonight. I hope everyone had a great week. Let's get right into tonight's predictions for this week, which run from tonight through to next Thursday, May 24th. These are general predictions for everyone in areas of work, love, finances, health, and spirituality. If you're interested in personalized monthly predictions or any other services that I offer, you can go to my website at AskRebecca.guru. All right, so some of the general themes for this week. One of them is going to be partnerships. And it's some form of a partnership will show up in everyone's life this week. It could show up in a work collaboration, a romantic relationship, a friendship, a stranger, a child, and even an animal. Basically, this partnership happens for you to learn something from each other. For example, a pet could teach you a valuable lesson in unconditional love. A coworker helps you complete a project before the deadline. A friend lends you an ear to vent your frustrations. Whatever form it takes, all parties involved will learn something about themselves, and also learn together you can achieve a collective purpose. So for some of you, it will be an extreme case of feeling like your opposites are perfectly unified, creating the ideal conditions to come together in equal balance and harmony. It just feels right. It's just, it's a connection that you'll make that you just kind of know that you're in the right place, the right time, and this is somebody that you were basically meant to align with so that you can further whatever it is in the area of life, how you meet this person. Another theme this week is going to be what I would call the great emptiness. So this week, most of you will feel like nothing is happening in your lives. Things will seem kind of quiet. You could feel uncertain about your next steps in life. You could feel like you're bored. You could feel lost. You could feel as if your life has like lost all meaning. It's just kind of one of those empty moments, like nothing is really happening. Like I just don't feel like there's going to be a lot of drama and a lot of things that are happening. But what's really happening in this moment where nothing is happening is the opportunity for you to practice patience and trust. It's kind of like the calm before the storm. Everyone is getting a much needed opportunity to just be, while things that you can't tangibly see are happening in the background. So for example, you could feel like you've interviewed for a million different jobs and nothing's coming to fruition. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, the people that you interviewed with have already decided that they're planning on hiring you, but other things came up, other things needed to be handled, and they just haven't called you yet, right? So it's that sort of an energy where, again, it feels like nothing's happening. Things may feel a bit stagnant, but in the background, there's all sorts of stuff happening. Now, the thing to try to avoid during this pregnant pause or emptiness moment is not to prematurely force action. So, that's the state of where you're trying to make something happen when you feel like nothing's happening. So then we get pushy or we try to, manipulate things in order to work out in our favor. Try not to do that. It's not going to work out in your favor. I get it. Most people feel uncomfortable in a state of just being. We lead such busy lives that actually sitting with ourselves for a moment and not having anything to do will make some people feel like they're not getting anything accomplished. They're being lazy, or, you can't sit with yourself because then all of a sudden you have to think about all the things that you're unhappy about in your own life, or things from the past come up, or memories, that sort of thing. So, it is an uncomfortable feeling. And with that too, what can happen is then, because you're feeling uncomfortable, you're going to fill it with meaningless distractions. So don't let that happen to you. Instead, embrace the nothingness Enjoy the time, the downtime, and before you know it, you'll naturally be led to something new and promising. Like there'll be a natural happening of a progression where you're no longer feeling that emptiness. Now, this emptiness also signifies a state of expanded openness, expanded awareness. So many of you have been going through a purging of old beliefs, old behaviors, and cutting things out of your life that no longer serve you. So you're in an in-between state because the new stuff hasn't quite shown up yet. It will. I know it will. I can feel it. It will. It's going to show up for you. Be patient and have trust. Stay strong. And more importantly, this week, when you're in the midst of feeling like nothing is happening, a really great exercise is to instead focus on what you do have and what you're grateful for in your life. Make a list. Bring that list to life, and appreciating what you have attracts more goodness into your life. Now, in several of the predictions, I've talked about seeing the unseen. Well, this is a theme that's continuously happening, regardless if I bring it up or not. It's a constant, just like change. This week, one of the unseens of being seen revolves around relationships. And some of you are going to have some major breakthroughs when it comes to love relationships. Some will see and understand how to attract people into your, attract people into your life based on your own relationship baggage. You'll make that connection where you're realizing like the common denominator in all the relationship stuff that's happening is you, right? So what is it about yourself that maybe you're not taking a look at? And you're the one that's picking the people that you end up in relationships with, right? You have a choice. You don't have to be in a relationship with someone that isn't compatible to you. So so I feel like you'll have a breakthrough. Now, some of you, I feel like you'll have a breakthrough because you've kind of been tricking yourself into believing that a relationship isn't in the cards for you, or somehow you're not deserving of a relationship. I also feel like some of you that have been self-sabotaging or thinking you're open for a relationship when in fact you're not. I just feel like those are also going to be breakthrough themes. Just lots and lots of relationship breakthroughs in this week in some form, in some shape, somehow, in some situation will show up for you. Now, the best breakthrough, which will happen for a few of you, is that you're going to finally meet the right partner for you, the one that you've been waiting for. You've worked hard at self-love and acceptance, and you'll finally see each other. You'll finally meet. You'll finally recognize each other. Like you basically hit the relationship jackpot. So I'm super excited for all of you that end up meeting that special someone. Now, there are a few of you who are currently in committed relationships or are dating someone who you suddenly realize truly is your relationship jackpot. So some of you are already in this relationship and you're just not fully aware or fully in it, or you haven't had that aha moment where you're like, oh my God, I'm totally in love with this person. This person is perfect for me. So I think some of you will realize that this week as well. So congratulations to all the lovers out there. I'm super excited for you. Now, overall, this week you can expect good vibes. New beginnings are on the way in the near future for everyone in areas of love and work and, every other area of your life. In general, people will respond to each other with love, kindness, and happiness this week. And so with that being said, I feel like it's a really great week to go make new friends, especially if you're interested in expanding your social circle. It's definitely a week of making new friends. So that could also be, like I said before, a partnership type connection. Work, for those of you that are employed, overall work feels as pleasant as work can feel. Some of you could work on figuring out what your strengths are at work so you can use them to highlight your skills and ask for a raise or a promotion in the near future. Remember, I talked about not if you're in this feeling of emptiness, right? And if that happens to be in the area of work. Again, try not to push or force things to happen before it's time, right? Just figure out your strengths, figure out your weaknesses, figure out what it is that you want, and don't have an expectation of others doing it for you. So I feel most everyone will be feeling appreciated and valued at work this week. It feels kind of like smooth sailing. Work, for those of you looking for a job, this week a couple of you may be offered a job. The rest, I feel, aren't seeing much of anything. But I do feel, again, there's things happening in the background. And I do feel like many of you that have been working really hard and putting your resumes out there and, trying to find new jobs, I do feel like there's going to be a whole influx of new jobs happening, beginning, I feel more like June, but all through June and the summertime, I feel like the rest of this year, things will be happening fairly quickly with the job arena when it comes to you looking for work. Love, committed relationships. This is a great week for those of you in committed relationships. Overall, I feel everyone will be feeling secure, happy, and in sync. Some of your relationships could move to the next level this week. Some of you will be moving in together. Some of you could be getting engaged. Some of you are going to decide you want to have a baby, or maybe you're going to get a puppy. It could be basically anything bringing your relationship to another level, even to the point where you're maybe gaining or falling deeper in love with each other, gaining a better appreciation and understanding of one another. Overall, relationships feel strong this week. Those of you in unhappy relationships, you could see a turn for the better, or at the very least realize there's work to be done to save the relationship. Or if you've been doing the work but nothing has changed, well, maybe it's time to start thinking about your next step, especially for those of you who tend to overestimate the strength of your relationship. Some of you are in denial about things. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Those of you looking for love, this is a better than average week to get out and mingle. Again, a few of you are going to meet someone. You should be feeling confident as well, so that's going to help you. You'll have an extra pep in your step. You'll be feeling good. And those of you who may not meet someone this week, just stay positive. Again, it's coming. I just feel like there's a lot of good stuff coming for everyone in all areas of life. So your relationship, it's coming in the near future. Just keep working on yourself, working on loving yourself, learning to accept yourself, and most importantly, enjoying your life. Like, enjoy being single. That is not a negative thing, right? Like, enjoy it. Figure out what you can do that makes your heart sing. And while you're doing that, you'll end up finding someone. Finances, money should be flowing this week. So I feel like not much happening there. So it's going to be pretty much status quo. So if you're always broke, you're probably going to be broke. If you're, doing financially well and you're stable, you're going to be financially well and stable. I do feel like this week is not a time to be overly confident and spend too much or get into credit card debt or gamble. And there's also a feeling of new money coming for some of you. And to me, it feels like it could be connected to earning some extra cash on the side. And for some of you, it feels like a new job. Health, I feel overall everyone will be feeling good. Those of you who've had some health problems, I do feel those improving. It's a great week to kick some unhealthy habits and implement new ones. Baby step it so you don't overwhelm yourself. Spirituality, this is a great week to remind yourself of all your strengths, reflect on how far you've come in your life. It's also a great week to give back some of the love that you've been given in life that you're experiencing. So pay it forward. And this doesn't have to be in the form of money. Give your time, support, wisdom, love, and energy if you can't afford to give in other ways. Come up with creative ideas. It's all about the love. That's the kind of give back that I'm talking about. It encompasses the feeling of love, the energy of love. And it's also a great week to get out in nature. And now that covers this week's predictions. What I'll do is a moment of Zen, because we haven't done energy work in a really, really long time. So if you close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths and relax. I'm going to send out some energy to you guys that will help you feel comfortable in the big empty this week, okay? All right, here we go. All right, you can open your eyes. So I felt a lot of energy in my third eye, my solar plexus, even in my throat a little bit. Not sure what all you guys experienced. Let me check in with Dave, the amazing producer. We're not ready yet. All right, well, let me stall some more. Let me see if I can get any messages from some crossed over loved ones for any of the viewers that are watching tonight. Okay, so I have a gentleman here with me. He seems to be, I feel like he's younger. I want to say maybe 20s, somewhere between 20 and 30 years of age. I do feel like he passed away fairly young. I feel that he passed away due to a drug overdose. He is trying to reach out. He's extremely apologetic. I feel in his pain. So, there's a lot of regret there. There's a lot of pain. He feels bad about hurting his family and wishes that he would have never traveled down that path. But ultimately, he knows that was his fate and that was his journey, and that he just hopes that you can forgive him and find the strength to move on and maybe even help others in his situation, since you weren't able to help him because he wouldn't let you. All right, so it looks like we do not have Adrian. We have Kim in Lancaster, New York. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Excellent. How can I help you this evening?
Well, I've just been going through a lot of bad, literally for years. It just seems one thing after another has been happening in my family, and I'm just at a loss. I don't know what to do. I've gotten to the point where I don't even like leaving my house because I feel like something bad's always going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like you've had a lot of, just tragedy. So I feel like there's loss there, but then I also kind of feel like not everybody's getting along.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of it just feels like there's a lot of bad blood and I feel like they've just kind of even lost sight of why. And I feel like it feels cliquey. Like I feel like some of them get together and, talk about others, and then that person will get together with somebody in the family and talk. Like, I just feel like it's this vicious cycle. And I feel like maybe they drag you into it, or they try to drag you into it. And like you said, you're kind of distancing yourself. Does that sound accurate to you?
Yes.
Okay. So with you, I kind of feel like, I don't know if it's you or somebody in your family, or maybe it's the group thing, but I feel like there's almost like an identity crisis of comparing each other with outer accomplishments, or like, I don't know. I just feel like there's everybody needs to cultivate like a positive mindset and positive thinking. And I just feel like everybody is really in this negative space of complaining and feeling like victims and then blaming each other. And am I headed down the right path with this?
Yeah, I mean, there's really been a lot of bad things that have happened, unfortunately, to my children and myself that have caused, you know, a lot of hardship, a lot of heartbreak, and family, unfortunately, has been part of the reason that it's made it worse for my kids. And so they're the ones who they all, you know, there's a lot of anger between them because of the way my family, my ex-husband, it's like all become a game for them to play against each other, like to pit my children against each other.
Yeah, I could see that happening. You know, I feel like the approach that you want to take is a good one, where you're pulling back. And I feel like the less that you engage, I don't feel like you should lock yourself away in your home. But I do feel like you should set boundaries. I kind of feel like you guys are the punching bags, right? Like everybody is just, I just feel like you've got to set some boundaries and cut some people out of your life, even if it's temporarily, and I feel like you've got to take the energy that you're putting into the fear of how they're behaving and what they're doing with the kids, and sit down with the kids and have a conversation with them and say, all right, let's make a pact and let's disengage from this situation. Like, somebody's got to be the bigger person, and unfortunately it's going to be you and the kids. You guys have to pull back. And I feel like if you can do that solidly, then things will just kind of go away. But you have a lot of guilt there as well, where like you feel like you owe your family. It's like blood is thicker than water mentality, which obviously, yes, it's family, but sometimes we've got to set boundaries with family, and I feel like you've got to do it, because otherwise it's just going to keep on going and keep on going. Do you have any specific questions for me? Like, do you want me to look into any specific person, or anything in regards to the situation that maybe you're looking for answers? Kim, are you still there? Man. Well, it is not a good night for callers this evening.
My phone had an update, and ever since they did the update, my phone's been acting up.
Oh, okay. I thought it was my fault. I'm taking all the blame this evening. Dave and I made a pact that I'm the fall guy tonight, so I thought it was me here in my space. So,
no, it's been an update on my phone that hasn't gone so well.
Oh, gotcha. We have 2 minutes left. What was the last thing you heard, or is there any specific questions that you want to ask me in regard to the family situation, or work, or love, or the kids, or is there anything that specific you want to know about?
Well, for my children, I just, you know, especially my youngest one, who doesn't have, you know, a good relationship with people. She has a hard time. She's very angry. And just, is there some help coming for her? Because it's gotten so hard between me and her, because she's so angry at how they treat her that she takes it all out on me.
Right. She's blaming you, right? She's secretly holding you responsible for the fighting that's happening. And like you said, she's angry because of what she's experiencing within the family. But even aside from that, I just feel like she has a lot of anger towards her dad. I feel like that's where most, like, I feel like she secretly harbors resentment and anger. Like, I just feel like she feels left out in the cold. And with her, I kind of feel like it may get a little bit worse before it gets better. I would recommend that you talk to her about feelings, because I feel like she just doesn't, her anger is really a symptom of sadness. And I just feel like she's really, really sad. She's feeling really rejected. She's feeling unworthy. She's feeling all these negative emotions, and she doesn't know how to express them except for through anger. So I feel like if you can connect with her on the emotional level, and just don't engage when she tries to fight with you, right? Like, she wants you to fight back. I just feel like, you know, try not to fight back, and instead just say, you know, how are you feeling? If you're sad, let's talk about it. You know, let's figure this out together and make it where you guys are the team.